wherever you are. This is Jessica Granish of Alpine Small Business Solutions, your online business strategy, implementation and management specialist, and get shit done virtual assistant extraordinaire. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know your time is precious, and I really am honored that you have carved time out of your busy and hectic schedule to spend with me. I have a lot of information to share on these 5 essential must-haves when creating a rockin' virtual team, especially in this course creation process. So I really want to honor your time and give you as much oomph that I possibly can. And before we get started, go ahead and turn off any distractions, cell phones, instant messengers, Facebook, whatever might be of distraction. I just went ahead and turned off my cell phone because that tends to be a distraction for me often. So go ahead and do that now. Also, I have secured the hashtag building a rockin' virtual team, and I would love for you to share any takeaways or aha moments from this presentation on any of your social media outlets. And again, be sure to use the hashtag building a rocking virtual team. That will also be at the bottom or the footer of each of my slides so that you can have reference to it throughout the entire presentation. Also, if I went too fast at any point or you cannot stay on for the entire presentation, no worries, we have you covered. The recordings will stay up available for about 24 hours, so you can come back later and watch it when you have more time, or maybe fast forward to a part that you wanted to hear again. Whatever you may need, we have you covered. And before I get into kind of the beginning parts of my presentation, one important thing I want to do is I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Laura. Thank you, Laura, for inviting me to be part of the Online Course Creators Summit. I am super honored to be sharing this space in my zone of genius along with so many other amazing thought leaders and influencers. So thank you for having me and sharing me with your wonderful community. And I really hope that what I'm going to show you about building virtual teams will really help you in your course creation and make it a much more enjoyable and fun and exciting experience, along with all of the other tools and information that you're being given today. So thank you, Laura, you rock. So what are the 5 essential must-haves? There's definitely more than 5, but for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to share 5 with you. One is some of the best tools to use to set up a collaborative online work environment and how to use them together. The importance of time management and self-motivation that will guarantee a successful team. How to create a communication system that gives a sense of togetherness always. Number 4, why building a virtual team that matches your core values will help create awesome virtual team authenticity and trust. Super duper important, guys. And number 5, why you must have this one business document for your virtual team no matter what. So who am I? Why should you even listen to me? Well, my name is Jessica, as I said in the beginning, and I'm a leading online business strategy and implementation specialist, as well as a trainer, mentor, and coach to those that are navigating through this online business space. I have worked with online teams all across the globe for over 18 years, and for the last 13 years within my own business, and prior to that life, I worked for the Small Business Administration, helping those that are looking at starting their business get financing for their small business. And so I've really been in this arena for a really long time. And being in that space, I've managed many virtual teams and have been part of numerous virtual teams. So I've really worked in the trenches and have been knee deep in this stuff for a really long time in my journey. And I've learned a lot of really great ways of building a rockin' virtual team, and I'm excited to share them with you. And as a little, pat on the back for me, I've been featured in some really great publications, some of my course content, my presentations, some of my blogs in like CBS, NBC, Huffington Post, Reddit, Fox News, Yahoo, Google News, just to name a few. So I really have been around the block quite a few times. So here we go, guys. Let's dig in. So it is said that it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to raise and build a business too. I absolutely believe this. I can promise you some of these leaders that are in your community that you follow are not doing it on their own. They have people that are within their team that are helping them build this empire. And just like with building your course, you don't have to do everything too. There are a lot of different focus points that you need to have, website, content, images, membership sites, all of these things that you have to do. Sometimes, sure, you could do it yourself, but you really should focus on what your zone of genius is and let other people focus on what is their specialty or what their niche is. And I can promise that it's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more cohesive, and just an overall better experience. So let's start with number 1, some of the best tools to use to set up your collaborative online work environment and how to use them together. Now, some of these tools that I'm going to share with you probably are not some secret gem that you've never heard of before. Many of them, at least half of them, you've definitely used perhaps, or you've heard of them. So they're not something that's like this big secret gem, but maybe it is. And the first one, which I've been using since the inception of my own business 13 years ago, is Dropbox. Dropbox is a tool. It kind of acts as a drive on your computer that you can store photos, documents, videos, files, anything of that nature. And you can sync it along with any of your other computers, phones, maybe you have an iPad. It will sync amongst all of those. So if you are on vacation, let's say, and you're not on your desktop at home, but you have your laptop, you can still access those same files in real time. And you can share with your collaborative team. You can share files, folders, whatever it might be, and you can also revoke that. So say that you have a team member that's only coming on to help you with a little bit of content writing, and then they're moving on. They're not like a long-term team member. You can revoke access as well, which is really cool as you're kind of navigating your way through building that environment where everybody can come together. Now, the second one I'm going to share with you is Google Drive. And Google Drive is very similar to Dropbox, but we'll just take it a little step further with it because Google Drive is obviously a Google product, and they have an entire ecosystem of tools. You have Google Drive, you have Gmail, you have Google Calendar, you can even get a phone number with Google Voice, and that's really cool. And it is a way for you to collaborate, just like with Dropbox, in a way that is more real time. Now, why would you use Google Drive and not Dropbox or vice versa? I really believe that they each have their own unique place for the business. For example, I've been working on a challenge with one of my teams, and we're building this amazing challenge. And it's a 10-day challenge, and all of our content that can be utilized and updated in real time is housed on Google Drive. But some of the larger items, like maybe the videos, maybe the images, they're housed on Dropbox, as well as maybe the PowerPoint. Now, Google Drive has their rendition of Office. They have Google Docs, they have Google Spreadsheets, they have Google Presentation, but really they have their place, but nothing's ever going to be using Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint because they're just so much more robust. You can be a lot more creative. So again, these two are very complementary and they really work well together as you're building your online work environment so that people can access tools. I'm sorry, not tools, but to access content or images or whatever it might be as you're kind of building that course. So Google Drive is also a really great tool. The next one that I'm going to share with you, I've been using again since the inception of my business, and that is Skype. Skype is a way for you and your team to stay connected. So as we work in a virtual environment, we're not necessarily seeing our team face to face, right? So we have to rely on getting on the phone, instant messaging, emails, all of those things. And so Skype does all that. And it's nice because you can have group chats, you can do video, you can do, just do instant messaging, and you can have it on any of your devices as well. It's very much fluid like that. And I know some people that use Skype, but also maybe use Slack, which is another one that you can use. I haven't necessarily jumped on the Slack bandwagon yet, but I have used it in some environments. I've always kind of just come back to Skype because it's pretty sturdy and has worked well for me. Let me preface that everybody might have something that's a little bit more unique to them that they'll need to use. But with this, Skype has always proved amazing in anything. Even when I've been overseas working on projects, I have had the ability to just do a Skype call and it's like we're right there and we're connecting. It's pretty awesome. So the next tool that I'm going to share with you, I have wished that I would have started using it a long time ago. And that tool is Asana. Asana is awesome. It is a way for you and your teams to track your work. So you can kind of say goodbye to emails and other calendars and sticky notes and all of those things because you can manage all of it in Asana. Now, just to kind of take you back in time a little bit, many, many moons ago, I used to keep track of all of my time and all of my projects in Excel. And it became so overwhelming. It really did. I was spending more time updating my Excel spreadsheets than I was actually doing projects at some points. And at that time, I was like, what could I do? What can I do to save my time? Because, as I said earlier, time is precious. And I had done some research and I landed across Asana. And just like with anything, there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it is super intuitive once you kind of get in there and you learn the basics. And you can have different workspaces. You can share workspaces with certain team members, even clients. Clients can follow the project if you give them access. It's really great. And there's other tools that are free. By the way, Asana is free, is like Trello. And I cannot tell you, once I got into it and I was using Asana on a regular basis, I was like, why in the heck did I not implement this sooner? Given the space of work I was doing, I really should have utilized it a lot sooner. But live and learn, and now I am giving you a little leg up in that area for time management and just getting stuff done. And it really is great for you and your team. And even if you just wanted to use it yourself and you're not quite at the space where you're bringing on a team, it's great to keep you on track. The next one that I'm going to share with you is another one that I really, really had wished that I would have implemented a long time ago, just like Asana, that is also a free tool. And that is LastPass. And so what LastPass is a password management service that stores encrypted passwords in a private account. And basically it can auto log you into certain things if you want it to. You can share it with team members. You can revoke it with team members. Again, like if you bring someone on for 6 weeks to work on a project, you can share the login, and it's encrypted and it's secure. Like they never necessarily see the password, but they can get in by accessing, or it's what it's called, launching the site, and it will auto log you in. And again, this can be across your laptop, your desktop, even your phone, all of those things. And it is housed by a master password. And there is a way to upgrade, the service, but I'll tell you, I've been using it for a while now, and I have not had this urgency to upgrade to their premium level, but it has been awesome. And just like with Asana, it was such a tedious thing. I was keeping for each client or each team, I was keeping all of the passwords on a Excel spreadsheet, and you'd have to update it here, you'd have to update it there. And some sites you have to update your password every 90 days for security reasons, like Infusionsoft and even One Shopping Cart, which I just had to do that today. And you just update it in one place, and whoever's on your team will have that update, and it's not that you have to open anything. It is phenomenal, and I highly suggest anyone working in a team or not, and you have a problem keeping your passwords in one place, this is a fantastic tool, and I highly suggest it. All right, so moving on, friends. Now, with all of that I just shared with you, I thought this was an interesting stat. 50% of all small businesses are home-based. So there's a bunch of us that are working virtually. So that's what Forbes is saying. I think that is maybe a little low, not necessarily too low, but I do find that to be an interesting statistic. And given that there are so many small businesses, there really is this great place for building these virtual teams, because it is giving the ability to let everybody flourish in their zones of geniuses and their niches. So going on to number 2, the importance of time management and self-motivation that will guarantee guarantee a successful virtual team. Now, there's one word that comes in between both of those, time management and self-motivation. The biggest issue with time management and self-motivation is this one word, and that word is distractions. Distractions will decrease your productivity by half, and in some cases more. And there's lots of distractions that come up if we're definitely working in a remote environment and we're working from home. Some of those distractions are like our bed. I mean, how nice is it that our bed is just down the hall or in the next room? In some cases, in the same room. You might be walking through the house and you have all of this laundry that you have to do. It's a distraction. In my case, I have 2 kiddos, and while I love them deeply, they can be a distraction for me sometimes. And not only that, we got our cell phones. We have nature. If it's a beautiful blue sky day, we want to get out in nature. At least I do. Say that you are passionate about skiing. I live in Colorado, and we are getting inundated with snow. We just had a bunch of snow just fall in the mountains, and actually 2 of our resorts closed down because there was too much snow, and that really makes me want to go up to the mountains and experience some powder days. And if you're like me, I have my fur face family, and they can be a distraction because they look so cute and you want to go out and you want to play with them, but they are a distraction. And there's also our passions. Maybe your guitar or your mandolin that I play is sitting in the corner and it keeps on calling out to you. It's a distraction because that is something you're passionate about. Or maybe your neighbors are coming by and they want to borrow some sugar or some eggs, whatever it might be. All of those things are creating this serious distraction and can be overwhelming at times. It really, really can. So what are we going to do about that? What are some of the things for a virtual team to stay successful? We want to set intentions for for your time. Start your day with scheduling your time. As you're building that course, set those intentions to know what you're going to do that day. Block that time. Take breaks often too. Get up and stretch. And as you're blocking your time, make time for taking breaks, because just sitting at your desk all day is not going to be conducive to you being productive. Another thing for you that a lot of people don't think about is having a clean and organized work environment. Productivity will skyrocket. Having a clean desk when you start your day is always a really positive way to start your day, and helps you stay on track. And if you're like so many, sometimes we'll have a messy desk, but we know where everything is. But if you start your day with the intention of just starting the slate clean, it's going to help with your time management and productivity exponentially. Next one, set boundaries with family and friends so they understand your work and how important it is that you stay focused. I know that a lot of people, and I love my friends so very, very, very much, but they think because I work from home, I can just run off and do whatever I want. And while in essence, I am my own, my own boss, so to speak, I really have to set those boundaries with my family and friends so they understand that I have to stay focused, or else I'm not going to be able to go on that next ski trip or whatever it might be. And if your family or friends are having a hard time keeping you from doing what you need to do, one thing that I do is I'll post signs on my door, or in my instance right now, we're going through a big house renovation and my office now has no door. So I put up some curtains, and whenever those curtains are drawn, everybody in the house knows, don't bother me. I'm in productivity mode. I'm getting stuff done. I think my kids have kind of had the hardest time with that. Mom, my sister's bugging me, those type of things. But you can sometimes tune things out as well. Another thing, turn off email notification pop-ups, turn Skype on do not disturb, those type of things. That's always a great way of kind of keeping your time and your focus. Another one is quiet your phone alerts and notifications. I know that Facebook, if it's on your phone, you'll get notified and that can distract you, and it's not a good productivity for time management. Just, try to stay as focused as possible and alleviate those things that can be a distraction. Also, stay off of social media if possible. I know that this is hard for many of us because we work in the social media realm. We are on Facebook because we're doing Facebook engagement or advertising or whatever it might be. But when possible and you're not in that realm, stay off social media because it is a sincere time sucker and you can just go down a rabbit hole and get lost. Also, keep on track using Asana and keep track of how you spend your time to find the holes and fix them later. So that's going back to the tool Asana. You can track all of your time, and it's really cool because Asana has an integration that you can have with a time management app called Harvest. That is not free, but it's really great because you can start to see where your time is, and I love it. And one of the biggest things that I can stress is don't multitask. I understand that sometimes that's seen as a virtue, but really scattered attention is scattered results. So multitasking is not always a virtue, okay? Studies from health.com and psychologytoday.com have proven reports and research that are compelling, actually, that completing one task before moving to another actually improves your productivity. And so if you are someone that's working on your own and you don't have a team, you are often in this space where like, oh, I got to record this video. Oh, I got to write the content. Oh, I got to create the graphics. Oh, I got to update the membership site. So you are everywhere, and that can be overwhelming and you're not focusing on one thing. So remember, scattered attention can often equal scattered results. So stay focused, friends, stay focused. All right, so moving on, the importance of self-motivation, right? So I really strongly suggest for self-motivation, movement is medicine. Try and exercise daily. You will see that your productivity and your self-motivation to get stuff done is increased if you get daily activity into your life. Take breaks often to stretch. Now, I cannot stress this enough. I was reading a report, I forget where it was, but they were saying that sitting is the new smoking. It's just as is hazardous to our health to be sitting all day and not moving as it is if you were just a smoker for 20 years. So get up, take breaks, stretch. Don't confine yourself just because you think that it's going to make things get done faster. It's really important that you do that. Also, eat healthy so that it fuels your brain. Meal planning and prepping can totally help with that time management and that self-motivation. This one, get dressed. Don't stay in your pajamas or yoga pants all day. This can, sometimes make people depressed. And so if you can, get up, get dressed, take a shower, get dressed and put on your makeup or whatever it might be to make yourself feel good, do it. Also, create a space to meditate and clear your mind. If you don't know how to meditate, there's really some great YouTube videos, but I'm still in the process of learning how to clear my mind. I have a loud mind, but it has helped me since I've started practicing it for probably the last 6-7 months. It really has helped with my own self-motivation. Another self-motivator is looking at your goals daily to gain motivation as to what you're working towards. A lot of people have vision boards, or maybe you have your goals written on a piece of paper. Take a look at those daily. Also, make time for the things you love. So don't restrict yourself. Definitely make time for the things that you love. And encourage your team to do that as well. Also, indulge in the things that are a distraction, but carve out specific time for it, like laundry is done first thing in the morning. Another thing to keep you fresh and, get some accountability partners is join a mastermind or a networking event that maybe you do at lunch, once a month or what have you. And another thing, which is my ultimate favorite right here, is take a cat nap. I'm not saying take like a 2-hour nap, just a quick cat nap, 15, 20 minutes, refresh your mind, your brain, all of that. It really does help. And these are really, really important and encourage for your own team to do this and yourself. So on to number 3, how to create a communication system that gives a sense of togetherness always. So in a virtual environment, I'm not going to lie, virtually working can be lonely, right? We're alone in our own space, and even though we are a team, we're not seeing each other. We don't gather around the water cooler and have small talk anymore. We're not going on our lunchtime power walking breaks. We're not having lunch with all of our coworkers. We're not doing our in-person meetings for collaboration and company accountability. And, we're not doing those company parties, those birthday parties, those holidays, all of those things. We really are sitting in a lonely place. So in a virtual team, you still want to have that sense of togetherness. So a couple things that kind of go hand in hand is create a space for water cooler talk and idle chat and quick answers for questions. I use Skype, and if I have a question for someone, I just put it in Skype, it pops up, and we can have idle conversation or just discuss strictly on what we're working on. Some other people use Slack, others even use Facebook chat, and those are all great solutions. Whatever works for you will be a great way of staying connected. Be sure to carve out special team time and either do a phone call or a video chat and hold a weekly check-in meeting. This is super powerful. I cannot stress this enough how important this is. You may think, oh, I don't have time for that, but that togetherness and the productivity will just skyrocket because we feel valued. Give praise often. Be sure to give your team praise, and in return, you will see that they will feel valued. If you can, do a lunch hour video chat with some of your coworkers those are sometimes fun. I'll do them, but oftentimes I am working with people that maybe are in Australia or New Zealand and they're not at lunchtime, or maybe I'm in Colorado and New York is 2 hours ahead. So, we're on different time schedules, but if you can carve that out, awesome. And if possible, once a year, come together somewhere wonderful to collaborate. If you can make that happen, awesome. I highly suggest it. And the next one is more for if you are at home, that lonely factor that I was talking about. Join local groups like nextdoor.com to find people in your neighborhood that perhaps also work from home and would like to go for a morning or afternoon walk. Or piggybacking on that afternoon walk, see if there are any others in the neighborhood to have lunch with or friends that are close by that can meet for lunch. Those are really great ways to curb the lonely feel. Now, moving on, number 4. Number 4 is one of, I believe, the most important things that a successful long-term virtual relationship can have, in my opinion, and that is building your core values to create team authenticity and trust. So, if your core values are in alignment with everything else, it really just flows so much better. It's super easy. It's valuable to talk openly and honestly with your team because we're all human, right? Human things happen to us. And if we create the space where we're working with other people that have the same core values, the same passion, it really makes it a lot of fun. I really believe that. I know when I'm building my own teams and I'm bringing other teams together, yes, it's important that their credentials are on point and that they know what they're doing, but also matching those core values you're going to just see a dynamic that is amazing. And then it's just kind of like one of those nice balances. And it's funny, the other day, it's really cheesy, guys, but the other day I was thinking, I was like, you know what? It's kind of like making delicious brownies, like bringing together your team, right? So you have different but complementary ingredients like flour and chocolate, maybe some mint. I like walnuts or peanuts in my brownies. And these are skill sets of your team, right? So if we were to take that as an analogy, and this cohesion of core values is so important. First, imagine what happens when you have conflicting ingredients. It's just not going to meld together. The brownies aren't going to stick together. But when they're complementary, it just creates this wonderful, delightful treat. I know it's cheesy, guys, but I was thinking that it was kind of like that as I was explaining right there. So really think about that as you're building your team. Yes, credentials are absolutely important. You're not going to hire or bring on a team member because they are just awesome and you guys really like playing guitar and going snowboarding together. That's awesome. But you're not going to bring them on and they know nothing about digital marketing or social media management or building an online course for that matter. So you really have to find a really good balance with that. Now, moving on to number 5, the last one of this presentation is why you must have this one business document for your virtual team no matter what. And what is this one document? It is your process manual. Your company process manual is so very important. Don't think that your team will know everything when they join on, right? Yes, they're competent. You brought them on board because they really had shown, they had testimonials, they had case studies, they really had proven effects that they knew what they were doing, and that they're competent in what they're doing. But no one, let me repeat this, no one does it like you. It sometimes takes time. And even though they know what they're doing, there is still going to be this onboarding process. And in a regular corporate jobs, I know that there are sometimes onboard processing or processes that take sometimes weeks and months. So things that need to be documented should be documented. And I know in a corporate world, these things are, I mean, remember those standard operating procedures if you worked in the corporate field, what those look like. And honestly, in a virtual environment, it's just as important. I got to be honest, a lot of times when I'm working with some of these clients, people often want to bypass the setting up of the systems, getting organized, the necessity of overlook the necessity of training because they just want to get things done. Well, honestly, that's not a great long-term strategy. You need to mold your team into the power machine that it's meant to be. And there's some really great tools that you can do to build your company process manual. You can use, a Word document, throw it in Dropbox. You could use Google Drive, put it up on a Google Doc. Also, Google has another tool that I've built a few process manuals in called Wiki, Google Wiki. Look it up. It's pretty awesome. It's kind of like your own process manual website. And think of it this way. As you're building your team, you want to be able to kind of cross train. So if I wanted to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks, which rightfully so, I should be allowed to go. And I do all of your newsletters and I do all of your social media management and all of those things. What happens when I leave? Well, it would be nice if there is some type of documentation so that if you yourself, the business owner, needs to do it, you can go in and you can say, okay, you go here first and then here, and then you can get it done. Or if you have another team member, you have a couple virtual assistants working for you with your course or within your business, that they can just go and be like, okay, Jane does this, okay, step by step by step. Your business can still keep moving. It's really awesome. So I want to reiterate, get that process manual going because it's going to not only help you as your business grows, but it will help your team get on board a lot quicker. So some of the best tools to use to set up your collaborative online work environment, just to kind of recap: Dropbox, Google Drive, Skype, Asana, LastPass. And to be honest, that is just touching the iceberg. Over the last, 5 or 6 years, I've been compiling a list of amazing free or very low budget tools that people can use into their business. So I have this download, and if you guys are interested, go to alpinesbsolutions.com/32-business-tools, and you can download this free reference guide, which is everything that we talked about and so much more. So, we have accounting, things that you can use for accounting, graphics, writing assistance, fitness, keeping your website safe from hackers and those nasty spam bots. So many great tools, and I'm still continuing to compile it. So, I highly suggest, if you're interested in implementing those into your business, as well as, helping with your course creation, go on over and download that bad boy today. Also, I am building my awesome Facebook group, and everything that we kind of covered today, plus a million other things that I would love for you to come on over and join the conversation. We have tips, tricks, inspiration, and secret sauces to running and thriving in in your business in the online capacity. And really, this community is built to help give you more motivation to create a life and business that you love. There's lots of thought leaders that are over there. It's not just me chatting, but there are a lot of people that have questions that maybe you can answer and that might have answers to questions that you have. So go on over there at facebook.com/groups/hellyesbiz. And if you want to take this one step further and need help building your virtual team, please feel free to set up a 30-minute free virtual team discovery session with me today. You can go to www.alpinesbsolutions.com/discovery virtual team. And I'm going to go ahead and just wrap up. And again, thank you, Laura, for having me and sharing this space with me, with the community as well. And I really hope that everybody got something from my presentation about the 5 essential must-haves when creating a rockin' virtual team. I wish you all the best of luck as you're building and creating and crafting your online content for your courses. And please reach out at any time. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.